want you to understand that I'm speaking from a ridiculous level of experience. Like, I've probably spent at least $1 million on advertising. We've booked thousands of calls. I've taken 4,000 myself, but we've really probably taken like 15 to 20,000 sales calls in the existence of my business. So we really know how to market and we really know how to sell. So everything I'm going to give you is completely from experience, and I'm going to give you as much as I can in these trainings to get you results, whether you pay me a dime or not. So this is part 2 of a multiple part series where I'm going into how to make $100,000 a year as an online coach or consultant, basically selling advice. Okay. And if you've missed it, I want you to check out the first video called Discovering Your Niche. So if you don't even know what advice you would sell, or you don't feel like an expert at anything, or maybe you have an idea of what you could sell, but it's not really packaged and really something that you feel like people could pay for, go check out that first video. I go really in depth on that. Because in this video, what I'm talking about is marketing. So how do you actually get your message out there? How do you get attention? And how do you get people to inquire about your services and stand out from the crowd? Because there might be a lot of people in the niche that you're getting into. So in today's video, we're talking about how to get out there, make noise, get people paying attention to you, interested in your services, and booking meetings. Because really, this entire business is contingent on booking consultation calls with potential clients and then running those consultation calls in a way that we teach that'll help you actually convert strangers into buyers in 1 or 2 consultations. They'll pay you anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000 in some cases. And so it might sound like a lot of money to some people, but once we get into the sales training, you'll understand how realistic and how doable that actually is based on the psychology of why people buy consulting and coaching. But in today's module, we're talking about marketing and how to actually get those booked meetings. And there's a few stages to marketing that we've trained our students on. So we've gotten now about 150 people to $100,000 a year or more. And a majority of the people that have gotten there took the marketing concepts and ideas and they just set it up as a 60 or 90 day sprint. So they said, all right, for the next 60 to 90 days, this is all I'm doing. I'm going to just take the action items and just run with them. Most students either never do what I'm about to tell them to do, and that's why they, quote, don't get results, or they do it, but they don't do it for long enough. Or the final thing is they do it, they're doing it for a while, but they're not actually tracking their numbers. And so we're going to show you how to do all 3. Because if you don't know the numbers of your efforts and you don't know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, you can't course correct. You know, the classic quote, what gets measured gets improved, right? Or what you don't measure, you can't improve. So if you don't actually have eyes on what's happening in your business, then you can't make rational decisions about what to do differently or what to change. Okay, so let's get into things. So there's really 3 stages of marketing from 0 to $10,000 to $20,000 a month in sales, which, you know, kind of is the number that I tend to see for people who want to make $100,000 a year profit, you know, after all the expenses, after taxes and everything like that, which, you know, would be $100,000 a year income, which is the whole point of this training. So the first is your network, okay? And a lot of people, when I tell them their network, often it sparks 2 things. The first is either, oh, I've got a ton of people I can already sell this to or try this on. And the other response is, I don't know anybody that would be interested in this. So if you don't know anybody, you can skip to the community step, which I'll talk about here in a sec. But if you have an existing network, it's always the easiest place to start. So a great example would be one of our students in the Consulting Blueprint program that we're serving right now. Her name is Sabrina. And she joined, high energy, was ready to go. She actually found us on Instagram like literally 72 hours prior and was like, all right, let's just freaking do this. And within the first 30 days, she's already booking meetings and making sales because she has an offer that helps comedians grow their career. And guess what? She's been a comedian for like 6 years. And so, you know, she has this offer that she thinks she could bring to other people. So she uses her local network or her friends and circles. Another example is one of our students, Brandon Reel. He did $10,000 his first 30 days by just building his offer. Like we're going to show you in this training, again, whether you pay us a dime or not, but building his offer and kind of functioning it and building it into something that could sell. And he's been a music producer for a very long time, so he had a lot of people in his network, and he sort of used that network, okay? This is a great first step, you know, because you're just getting that initial proof of concept. And we talk about proof of concept for a second here. Proof of concept in an engineer's brain. So if you're thinking like an engineer, which your business really should be viewed as a project, like an engine that you build, like an engineer, then proof of concept is basically you built something and somebody paid for it, and not only did they pay for it, but they were happy that they paid for it. Okay, and that's really what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to get that initial like spark of, okay, I've got this idea, I sold it to somebody, and they were happy that they paid for it, and that they actually it's good enough that maybe they would refer a friend. That's a great green flag. Or that they're willing to film a testimonial, another great green flag, and so on and so on. So we're trying to get beyond that initial happy customer sort of gap. Okay, and this can take a while for some people. For others, it takes like 3 days because they already have the community, the network, and everything. But this is really what we're trying to aim for in this initial step, is getting beyond the happy customer gap. So, and I want you to really make an internal commitment right now that you're going to do whatever it takes, no matter what, hell or high water, to go out and find and create a happy customer. Because once you have a happy customer, everything else gets so much easier. Okay, so let's talk about community. And really, this should be written as communities. And because what we're doing is we're actually going to leverage existing internet-based communities like Facebook, LinkedIn groups on Facebook and LinkedIn groups, or groups on wherever it is that you might hang out, like Reddit or freaking whatever, right? Communities of people that might have the problems and challenges that you're looking to solve. And what we're really doing is we're joining these groups, and we're doing 3 things, okay? We're adding value, we're asking questions, and we are telling our story. Okay, so when we add value to these communities, we're seen as an authority, and people naturally will ask us questions if we can help them out. When we ask them questions, we spark conversation, which could lead to sales down the line. And when we tell our story, maybe the transformation that you've had, if you are a skills forwards or knowledge forwards coach or consultant, then that tends to help people be like, oh, what they've done, I can somewhat relate to. Maybe this is something that I can get help with as well. And so this is something that we teach in our program called the Facebook or LinkedIn flywheel. This is basically leveraging existing communities to build your profile on those platforms, and then use your profile to continually warm and sell clients. And, we've had students build their business to $50,000 to $100,000 a month with just this strategy. You can check out my interview with one of our students, Will DeBruin, who got to $50,000 a month with this strategy. So let me get a bit deeper into this real quick. What I want you to do, if you want to effectively execute on the Facebook or LinkedIn flywheel, is I want you to, and the reason we do Facebook or LinkedIn is they're very, very similar, but it just tends to be 2 different archetypes. If you have more of a business consulting offer or a career consulting offer, something like that, maybe try LinkedIn. If you got more of a kind of overall general population, sort of a customer-based offer, which is like maybe more of a life coaching or something like that, who knows? You could do Facebook, and you could also do both. Okay, but what you want to do is join at least 20 to 40 communities, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook, splitting down the middle or whatever. Most of the students have done really well. They focused on Facebook just because it tends to be less of a barrier for people to learn. Not everybody has a LinkedIn account. Okay, but you join all these communities, and what you want to do is you want to write 3 posts following these 3 archetypes, the value, question, and story archetypes right here. So value posts would be like, hey, using our student Sabrina as an example, hey, comedians, I want to share with you, and remember at the end of the last training, we talked about your market message. I want to share with you why, a big percentage of you have been able to achieve end goal, right? Because they learned about why mechanism or strategy, and how you can use this strategy to help you boost your career as well. So here's a bunch of advice, and maybe break it into a chunk list or something, and just try to include images on these posts as well, because generally image posts do better on the algorithm. And then as you get likes and comments, just add them as friends or as connections. Send them a quick message saying, hey, saw you like my post, just want to reach out, get to know you, let me know if there's any way that I can help you, and just spark relationships. Okay, and from all of these posts, what you're really trying to create is setting opportunities. And when I say a setting opportunity, what I mean is you're creating conversations with people that could lead to booked calls, okay? And all you do to book calls in the direct messenger platforms of Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever it is that you're doing this, and we'll talk about Instagram when we get to platform here in a sec, and even YouTube, is you're really just trying to ask questions that get them to open up and share where they are currently. So like, tell me a bit about your comedy career right now, or tell me a bit about your music producing career right now, or tell me a bit about your business or your health journey or whatever it is. Just getting to know people. So what you're trying to identify is where they are now, where they want to get, and why they haven't gotten there themselves yet. And so you just ask questions in a very formal way. A great book to read would be How to Win Friends and Influence People. Because with communities, we're really just kind of throwing like, kind of a bomb into these communities. We're just dropping a big thing, and not every single post will hit. Maybe 1 out of 10 or 15 posts, if you've never done something like this before, maybe will pop off. So really try to solve your problems by doing a lot of volume. Post, 3 to 5 posts a day into a majority of communities. And what we're trying to do is just get our initial first few sales. Because once we have our initial first few sales, we want to move from our time and energy working for us with communities to our money working for us by building a platform, which I'll talk about here in a sec. Okay? So you're trying to create setting opportunities. Ask good questions. Ask leading questions. Understand where they are now, where they want to get, and what's stopping them from getting there on their own. Okay? Now, I've got a couple really great resources for you. The first is in the description. I've got a live boot camp that I ran with in our company. We had somebody who full-time set opportunities for us as a company, and we did a little bit of a training with him. He set opportunities that led to nearly $1 million in sales for us, and we just sat down and did a training. I'm going to link that below, okay, and you can download that and check it out. It's going to be a really, really helpful little piece of training, and so that way you can understand exactly how to set these opportunities, okay? And then I might as well link as well in the description kind of a more in-depth training on the flywheel model, but really what I've given you today is pretty much a majority of what you need. You need to add value to these communities, ask good questions that lead to conversations, and tell your story. And the most important thing is volume and consistent commitment to this process, because not every post is going to pop off, and not every conversation you're going to have is going to lead to a call. But you have to understand that if you have a post that say gets 50 likes, you'll probably end up with about 5 conversations and maybe 1 booked call. So you're really kind of dividing it by 1 out of 10 at every level. So you get 1,000 likes, maybe 100 good conversations, and 10 booked calls. And you also have to understand that this isn't just a direct thing where you get 1,000, 110. You're also getting a chunk of that 1,000 will end up following you on your LinkedIn or your Facebook profile. And then it's important that you put out some content over there just to sort of warm these people up and keep them, alive and well. Now, where this model starts to fall off and why we move from community to platform is because at some point, you can't just keep hustling to sign clients. Like, you can't just keep posting 5 posts a day and continually messaging people. You're going to burn out. It's going to take 3 or 4 hours a day. It's a great thing to do for a 60 to 90 day sprint. You're going to achieve more than you could ever think possible when you really commit to this for 60 to 90 days. But if you really want to build a sustainable 6-figure business, okay, you need to build a platform. Platform is what I call in my coaching programs and with my students the 7-figure word. Platform is the 7-figure word. Okay? And why I say this is because once you have a group of individuals following you who already like what you have to say, who have found value in your advice, might have gotten some transformations maybe for free with some of the free resources you've given away, then the odds of them coming and buying something is much, much, much higher because you've shrunk the trust barrier down. Trust is one of the main components that will lead to somebody buying or not buying from you. And so with the community, sort of strategy, you can build trust by adding a ton of value, but some people, they need to follow you for a long time. They need to digest your content, and you don't want to lose those people to having a very direct sales process. You want to give people time to cultivate and warm. And that's one reason we moved to platform. The other reason we moved to platform is because you need to stop trading time for opportunity and start trading money for opportunity. Okay, so we move on from community to platform as a strategy once we've sold at least $10,000 worth of our stuff. Now, this sounds like a big gap for some people, but when we get into the sales module and sales training, I'll show you how to command premium prices. And if that interests you, go ahead and check out that next video, and I'll dive way deep into sales and everything. But once you've sold a good chunk of services in communities, you want to keep this money. This is the business's money. Do not spend this money, because what we're going to do is we're going to put this right into building our platform. Okay? So action item is first, ask at least 10 to 20 people in your local network, hey, are you open to getting on a call soon? I'm working on a program where I help X group of people achieve Y outcome, and I'd love to maybe see if you are a good fit for it. It's got a price tag, but considering you're a friend, we can work something out or maybe even do it for free. You're just very unabrasive here. So you can kind of use your personality type. You know these relationships better than I do. I'm not going to go and tell you to sell a $5,000 program to your aunt, right? But I am going to tell you, look, your local network is a great place to start and just to get those initial happy clients. Okay, communities are also a great place to go once you've used your network or you don't have a network and you can just go right into the marketplace and right into the meat. And you're going to want to do this for 90 days. At least 3 to 5 posts every single day, maybe take Sundays off, okay? And just try and prospect for 2 to 4 hours a day. Send some messages, add some value, put out a valuable post under your profile, and get used to kind of that consistent focus on creating content. Now, once you've sold at least $10,000 worth of services, which, again, might sound like a lot to some people, but I promise you it's really not. We'll talk about sales and we'll talk about, how to really position yourself in the next module. Platform. Now, when I say platform, I really mean Instagram. We love Instagram in our coaching program because it gives people a ridiculous amount of control over the flow of business, because you can literally just spend to grow your account, and I'll show you what that looks like right now in this training. And you can take this money and start seeing your business as an investment vehicle. So you can take this $10,000 and, maybe save 5,000 of it and pay for some bills or whatever it is you got to do, but take the other 5 and start investing it into advertising over the span of like 2 or 3 months, maybe even the span of a month if you want to be really aggressive. And what we're going to do is literally just buy attention to send to our Instagram. And then just like we were creating setting opportunity with groups and communities, we're going to start creating setting opportunity with our Instagram. But instead of trading time, which all of these right here we're trading time, right? Instead of trading time for money, we're trading money for money. So your business becomes this thing where you spend $1 and you make 3 or 5 back. And that's when things get really cool. Okay, so let's talk about how to do this on Instagram and how to practically really do this. Let me just give you an example of what we're doing in our business and some ways that you can model kind of what's worked for other students. So I think a great place to start will be by giving you let me link it down below. So down below, I've linked a training, just like I linked the setting training that I gave you. I also went ahead and linked a training that I did with one of our private students. His name's Connor. And by using these strategies, he got his business from like $1,000 or $2,000 a month to he now does $70,000 to $90,000 a month using Instagram. And he just launches simple Instagram growth ads, and he puts up call to actions on his story saying, "Hey, message me if you're interested." He asks good questions in the DM and books calls and makes closes, okay? And then on his Instagram, he just puts up valuable content and kind of builds that platform for himself. Okay, and so you can check out that training. We go a little bit more in depth than I can go into here on YouTube, just because, look, I'm not going to take like 2 hours to give away every tiny little component, because so many of you are going to be stuck at different points. So I'm trying to link you off and give you what you might need for your specific situation. But the high level of getting Instagram to work for you, it's quite simple. You need a couple things. The first thing is you need a hook, or really you need a source of attention. Okay, so a lot of people rely on the algorithm to get that attention. But as you know, we've already used groups and we can go back to groups to make money whenever we need it. We're going to start thinking like business owners, and instead of just pocketing the money, we see the money as the business's money. We see that money as more potential money in the future if we just turn it into opportunity. Okay. And by the way, this is the way that I think that is allowing me to aim at like $500,000, $700,000 a month this year, is by thinking about my money as if it's the business's money and just reinvesting it to continue to grow, create more opportunity, create better client experiences, advertise, fill the calendar, make sales, everything, right? And so with this $10,000, let's say you spend it all on ads, you don't make a single dime back. I don't want you to consider that a loss. You can go back to groups and sign more clients whenever you want. So once you've gotten past that initial barrier of making that first sale, which again, I'm excited to go into sales in the next module, you can have that internal confidence and say, look, whenever I need, I can go back and do what works. But right now, I need to invest energy, which is money, and a little bit of time into getting a loop system set up where I'm turning $1 into 5. Then I can turn that 5 into 25, then that 25 into 100, right? And just try to build something that compounds like this, which is where you get students like in our program that get to like $100,000, $300,000 a month, which sounds ridiculous right now to a lot of people. I know that, but that's why Einstein calls the law of compounding one of the wonders of the world. Okay. So what you need for Instagram, one a little off topic, you need an attention source. So you're going to film 3 to 6 ads that all have a market message similar to what we designed at the end of the last piece of training. where you're saying, hey, if you are a group of people trying to achieve set result, I want to show you how to use given strategy or mechanism to achieve it. Follow me here on Instagram, and I'll show you how to do it for free. I'm going to add a ton of value to you, and I got a ton of content and resources to help you achieve that end. Give me a follow and shoot me a message, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you. It's literally that simple. So you film those ads, you post them to your Instagram, and then on the bottom right, if you ever notice, I'll show you on the screen here. So I'll use this post on our Instagram as an example. If your business or your Instagram page is set up as a business page, you've got this little button right here called Boost. Okay, and all you need to do is just click this button, and it's going to take you to a place where you can actually run advertisements and basically promote your content to the audience that you want to push it to. Okay, and so in that training that I linked in the description with my student and friend Connor, who we took from like 2,000 to nearly 100,000 a month, like we go into like targeting and like how to set it up and everything, and that's going to be a really helpful thing for you to do. But the core idea is 3 to 6 ads, all with slightly different hooks, all with slightly different, hey, if you are insert thing, trying to achieve insert thing using insert strategy, then follow me. You play with that a little bit so that you have a lot of different tests. What you're trying to do is give Facebook or Meta as much ammunition to play with as possible to help you find what works best. And then you just want to check those ads every day or every other day and just kind of see which ones are getting the most views and comments. And you can always suppose that the ones that are getting the most comments and attention and general engagement are going to be the ones that are going to get you the most followers. Generally, that's just the case. You're going to get some hate comments. You're going to get some people saying some silly stuff about you. Just peer through it. They don't actually know you. They're judging you at surface. Run the ads anyway. We've run ads that when we run them, like my wife sees the comments and she's like, I don't know how you can handle people saying that about you. But at the end of the day, like they don't know you. They only know their own judgment of you based on their first impression. If they actually knew you, they'd probably like you. But based on this one little sliver of you, they cast a judgment, and that's just human nature. So don't take anything personally. You're going to get some weird comments. The reality is you're here to serve people and here to help change lives, and that's what we're trying to do. So once you have these ads live, 3 to 6 ads, and you boost them to a given audience, you're going to want to spend anywhere from $20 to $100 a day per ad. Now that sounds aggressive, but the reality is you can just turn off the ads that aren't working, and worst case, you'll lose only a little bit of money because you can make sales to this audience that's coming in. And the ads that are working, you're literally doubling, tripling, quadrupling your investment on. And so you think about this investment versus an investment like the S&P 500. Like the S&P 500 gets you 8% a year, maybe 7 or 8% a year. This investment gets you 400% within the first 30 days if you can just crack it. And when I say crack it, I mean playing with a new ad, playing with a slightly different content strategy, changing the way you approach your appointment setting in the DM, changing the way you approach your sales calls, and really just playing with these variables until you crack the code. Okay, once the code is cracked, you have literally the best investment vehicle you could ever have, which is a business where when you put $1 into it, you get 5 back. So what you want to do is 3 to 6 ads, film those. 1 or 2 are going to stand out, turn off the rest of them. So within the first 7 days, you're going to realize that 1 or 2, maybe 3 are standing out. Film more like those, turn off the rest of them, and launch another bucket of ads. And continue to do this every week until you have 1 or 2 ads that are just ripping it for you. It's really hard within 4 or 5 weeks for this not to be the case because you're just going to continue to test, continue to improve. And just like any system that does less of what's not working and does more of what is, again, like an engineer, we're going to build a really great engine. And this engine will create consistent opportunities for us to set appointments and make sales. Okay? And then what you want to do is every other day, put up a little piece of content on your story that says, hey, I'm looking to help a couple people who want to achieve the end result that you help them achieve. Just message me any word. You can get creative here, and I'll speak with you. And then you just talk to them in the DM and see if they're a good fit. And if they're a good fit, you book them in for a call after asking them some questions. Okay? And it really is that simple, you guys. I think people overcomplicate that. Some people would argue the devil's in the details, but it's really that simple. If you want a recommendation on a good software for booking people into your calendar, we use Calendly.com. And that's an important, probably, piece of tech information that you might need. And just, try to book in people that you're relatively confident that you could work with either now or in the future based on the questions that you're asking them. And you can get creative. You can put other stuff up on your story, like you can put up a poll on your story. This is something we've tried where we put up a poll and we message people based on the responses to the poll, like, hey, where are you at in your online business journey? Are you just getting started? You've already signed some clients. Where are you at? And we message them. You can also give away like free resources and trainings on your Instagram to kind of add some value to your audience and build some trust. There's a lot of different ways you can approach this. We recommend posting at least once every other day something that's valuable or something on your feed just to keep things alive. But the most important thing is continuing to have new sources of traffic and really using your story to build a relationship with your audience. And then putting up call to actions for new opportunities. Okay, when you do this right, you can book anywhere from on the low end, like 1 call a day, to on the high end, you can book upwards of like 20 sales calls a day. And that just comes down to the amount of spend, the amount of attention that you're getting, the size of your audience as it compounds and grows, and how good you are at setting, basically, in the DM. Which is why I recommend, checking out the video below. But people really overcomplicate setting and sales. I want you to understand that, at first it is kind of a science, and you have like this script and you're very robotic about your approach, but eventually it kind of evolves into just this third sense, this like muscle memory sort of art where you don't have to think so hard about it. Really recommend the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's the ultimate book on basically how to approach new relationships and do business with people and get people trusting you and willing to do business with you. Really, really good book. And it's a good book for life and for business, and it so applies to appointment setting and sales. So really recommend you read that book, okay? Now, this is the marketing process that we teach. Now, to kind of skip ahead a little bit, if you're looking to get like to $100,000, $300,000, $500,000 a month, we recommend actually a way more hands-off process. We use one 10-minute video that allows us to scale to multiple 6 figures a month in our business, okay? So it's one video that I set up in a weekend, and we run everything through it. And you can check out that training. It's actually here on the channel. And it's a really interesting video. It'll just show you kind of what that video teaches, how it works and everything, and how exactly we use one video to get opportunity. Because once you get beyond $100,000 a month, you really need like a conveyor belt system where it's like, that everybody's going to see the exact same message. That they're all going to think the same things based off that message, and a certain percentage of them will book and a certain percentage will buy. With Instagram and all these new ads and all this new content and changing your story all the time, it's like noisy, if that makes sense, and it's like new things. They're always hearing a new thing from you. It's a new message or it's a new sequence from you. If you just have one video and then like 7 emails that you send to the people who opt in to watch that video, then you have a lot of control over your message, and it's just really dialed in, just creating a potent single message that sparks action and gets somebody to book. Like we know that 1 out of every 10 people who opt in to watch our 10-minute educational video will book a call with us. And so we can take that number to the bank. We know that we're going to close about 35% of the people who show up, about 70% of the people who book end up showing up. So we've just got a lot of numbers in our business, okay, that we can really rely on. So this is how it works. This is how we teach people how to market. And what I'm trying to do is give you as much information as I can, but at some point, you just need somebody to relate these things to you, which again is why we do what we do. So soft plug, you can always book your call using the link in the description with one of us. We don't really tend to make like a hard, bold offer on that first call. We just want to see if our systems could work for you. So that link is always there. But this is how we teach how to market. You've got some great resources in the description. Really recommend you watch that setting bootcamp, okay, how to appointment set, as well as the bootcamp where I went in depth with my student Connor on how to actually scale the Instagram process, okay? We've now helped 23 people, actually 25 people get to $1 million a year, and a lot of them use the Instagram process or a process ridiculously similar to it, following the exact same principles of it, okay, which is an incoming attention channel, an ad of some sort, a hook that gets people interested in your services and stuff, talking to people, setting appointments, and booking calls. Okay, so in the next training, I'm going into how to actually sell. And I hope that this has been valuable. I find myself right now as I'm wrapping up this training wishing I could go deeper, wishing I could say, here's exactly what you got to do. But at some point, that's why I do what I do. That's why we have the offer we have, is so that we can actually like take the time with you individually and say, this is exactly what you need to do. I'm trying to build this training to kind of hit all the different avatars and archetypes of people that are going to be watching this. And hopefully it's been valuable. At the end of the day, this is why I believe so heavily in getting the right help. Okay, and if you want to get our help, that link is there. But I'm going to do my best to give you everything for free on these sets of trainings. Okay, so thanks for watching. That's the 3 stages of growing to about 10 to 20,000 a month. In the next module or training video, whatever you want to call it, I'm talking about sales and how to actually persuade. And if there's one really important skill that I've learned, I've taken over 4,000 sales calls myself. That's not my team. That's me actually hopping onto a 45-minute consultation call with a stranger and talking to them about our services and products. And, from that, we've generated millions and millions of dollars of sales for various programs and stuff that I've sold in my career. Okay. And so I want you to understand that I'm speaking from a ridiculous level of experience. Like, I've probably spent at least $1 million on advertising. We've booked thousands of calls. I've taken 4,000 myself, but we've really probably taken like 15 to 20,000 sales calls in the existence of my business. So we really know how to market and we really know how to sell. So everything I'm going to give you is completely from experience, and I'm going to give you as much as I can in these trainings to get you results, whether you pay me a dime or not. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. See you in the next module on how to sell. Let me know your key thoughts and key takeaways and sort of the lessons that you learned from this training using the comment section below. And I'm looking forward to making the next piece of training. See ya.